All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to talk about something really powerful. This idea that every single one of us has a leader inside, just kind of waiting to be unlocked. So let's get into it.
So let's start with a big question, one I'm sure you've asked yourself before. Do you have what it takes to be a leader? You know, the answer might be a lot more interesting and honestly, a lot more hopeful than you think.
Because you see, real leadership isn't always about being the loudest voice or having some fancy title. So often, it's this quality that's just deep within us, sometimes completely out of sight, just waiting for the right moment to show up.
And that brings us to this core idea, hidden potential. What is it? Well, it's that untapped power for leadership that you already have, even if you don't realize it yet. It's not something you have to build from zero. It's something you just need to uncover. Now, this exact phrase, hidden potential, is pulled directly from our source material. And that's so important because it totally reframes leadership. It's not just a list of skills you need to learn, but it's a potential that already exists inside you. That, right there, is a huge shift in how we look at this. So the big question is, if this potential is hidden, how in the world do you find it? How do you go from not knowing it's there to, well, knowing? It turns out there's a surprisingly clear path forward. And the key isn't some super complicated year-long quest. Nope. According to the source, it all kicks off with a simple evaluation. And I just love that word, simple, because it makes this whole journey of self-discovery feel like something anyone can do, starting right now. Okay, so let's break this down. First, you undergo an evaluation. Now, this isn't a test with right or wrong answers, not at all. Think of it more like structured self-reflection. Maybe you look back at times you took charge, or you ask friends you trust for some real feedback on your strengths. The whole point is just to gather some info about yourself. That process helps you start to see that raw potential, which then leads to the most critical step, really, truly understanding what it all means. And this is where the magic happens. The journey doesn't just stop with a result on a piece of paper. It starts with the power of knowing. It's that huge shift from being unaware to actually understanding what you're capable of. This shows that shift perfectly. Before, you might be totally unaware of these qualities. You might even doubt you have them at all. But after, you get a brand new lens to see yourself through. You finally understand your own hidden potential. It's really like the difference between stumbling around in the dark and someone suddenly flipping on the lights. So what does this understanding actually give you? Well, for starters, it gives you real clarity on what your natural strengths are. It gives you a totally new, much more empowered perspective on what you can do. And maybe most importantly, it becomes the solid ground, the very first step on your personal path to growing as a leader. All right, so we've gone from asking if we have potential to uncovering it, and then finally to understanding its power. But the journey does not end there, not even close. And this is the point I really want you to take away. Knowing you have potential, that's just step one. That's the starting line. The real adventure, the real growth, and the real reward, that's in awakening it. That's the exciting, ongoing journey of leadership. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Everything we've talked about, it's like being handed a key that unlocks a door you never even knew was there. But just knowing the door is unlocked isn't the same as actually walking through it. The real question is, now that you know it's there, are you going to step through?